Happy 2025. We're going to ring in 25 with the January Astro-Numerology forecast. Greetings, everyone, and greetings, Lloyd. Welcome to 2025.
Thank you. It is amazing. Another new year. It's amazing how fast 2024 has come and gone. Amazing.
It feels like 2024 really just came in.
Really? What makes you say that?
The year went past so fast.
Well, that's true.
A lot happened this year, though. A lot happened. Yeah.
Well, when you're busy, as they say, time goes, time flies. And evidently you wasn't sitting around twiddling your thumbs, that's for sure.
No, not quite. It would have been nice, though.
Yeah, definitely.
How was your oh December, the universal 11th month?
December
How was
seemed
it?
to have been in alignment, especially with relationships, with especially from the side that I had not been a lot before. Like I had doctor's appointments, everything checked out, check. Dental appointments, check. But it was so interesting because I read that, and then as I'm going through it, I remember I said, "Wow, I talked about Aquarians going through things like this." So I'm sure not all Aquarians per se, but I'm sure a lot of Aquarians. But really, normally for me anyway, around about near the end of the year, I always go get a general checkup, always. So it was in alignment, but it seemed that and making adjustments, things. So it was just interesting, just very, very interesting.
Yeah, well, I noticed a few things about December, the 11 universal month. During two cycles, it gets difficult for me to eat. I lose my appetite. So I think it's that finicky or fussy about my eating habits, that kind of thing. And the one thing that stood out is the fact that the month of December felt like I was in the twilight zone. Like it was so many weird things happening, the dreams, and that 11 is connected to the 7. And so it was hard to sleep sometimes. And then you feel that little anxious anxiety feeling. I mean, that 11 month was something else. And the 11 is actually my life path. So I don't know if it's because, it was a double dose of those numbers
It's
that made
possible.
it stand out this time. But it just seemed like I was more, how can I say it, more sensitive or aware to things that probably had already been happening, but I had just never paid attention to. And so
Well, for Leo's, this particular brand new month of January, guess what? You have to wait your turn to get the sign, but it's so interesting.
please. Again?
Yeah. It's not your fault. It's just a cycle of life, as they say.
You did that on purpose. You
I
did
certainly did not.
that.
I said to myself, is this true?
You did that on purpose. Wow.
But don't forget, Leo is the one thing that's very interesting about our signs, Leo and me, respectively, Aquarius. We both rule the master numbers. You, the master number 11, I, the master number 22. But let me tell you about this particular brand new month of the brand new year. What I did was I says 2025 added to the first calendar month, and it added to 2026, which is a 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So 4, January. January is a 1 universal month for everybody, not just Leos, not just Aquarians, but for everybody. But however, it does favors Leos first, God bless their souls. Aquarius second, God bless my soul. And then Aries, or if anybody's born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. And because we've done this for a year, I decided to bring another new component to the equation. Excuse me?
What's that?
Well, you know, back in the day when I lived with my grandparents and whatnot, they would always look at an almanac. And an almanac will tell them things to break a habit, to cut your hair to make it grow, or to shorten it, or to start a business, or make a loan, or invest, or buy a car, etc., or electronics. Well, and that is going to be the new component that we're going to add to our monthly series. So
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, let me tell you this. So now, especially breaking a habit. Why? Well, we're in January. This is the month that people start making what is called their resolutions. Sometimes it don't stick, but for more than a week. But the intention is there. Okay. So one of the things is one of the resolutions of some kind to a greater or lesser degree is about breaking a habit. Well, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop raising sand. I'm going to stop doing this, that, and the other. Well, this is the month in which to do that. But if they're going to break any habits, the 26th and the 28th of this month of January is the best time to do it. But you break it with the understanding that habits takes 21 days to break, and a habit takes 21 days to form. So if you're going to do it, and with the intentions around the 26th of January or the 28th, make sure that when you start on either of those 2 days, to be prepared to stick with it for 21 days if you're serious about breaking a habit. Now, what about hair growth? Well, if you want to grow your hair, cut it where it grows more, because you got a head full of hair. Well, they should do it on the 4th. And then another time is between the 7th and the 10th. And then another time is the 31st of the month. That is the time to cut their hair to make it grow. And this is for men too, who are thinning, things of that nature. So if you want to do that, you know, that's the time. But what about you got a head full of hair and you say, oh man, I'm tired of it growing everywhere like wildfire, and you want to cut it? Well, the best time would be on the 14th to cut it, and it slows down the growth, along with the 24th and the 27th of the month. Now, let's say you want to start a business. The 8th of the month of January would be ideal. And if you want to ask for a loan, it's between the 7th through the 9th of this month as well. And let's say you want to invest in something. I want to invest in this. I want to invest in that, whatever the case may be. Then the 9th and the 18th would be the best. Now, what about getting that brand new automobile, or maybe a used one? I mean, just, doing the best you can with 4 wheels. The best time to get it is on the 17th and the 18th, the 27th and the 28th of the month. And there'll be other things that I'll be bringing each and every month until the year is over. So people want to know, because don't forget, it's like following the almanac. That's so the Farmer's Almanac was good. In fact, Benjamin Banneker started an almanac. They talked about Ben Franklin, but Benjamin Banneker really started the almanac. And the almanac to this day has been very, very popular to, plant vegetables, weed, sheeps, animals, you name it, all kinds of things. And it's all deal with the cycles of the moon, which is how I express everything anyway. By telling you when your moon is in your sign, it is very favorable, or the moon when it is not in your sign, which kind of works against the things you're trying to do. But my attitude is being aware. Once we have knowledge, to do what is best for you. So that was something I'm still going to add the theme, because we got to have a theme. You got to stay on track. Okay. Then I'm going to talk about the colors that are very good, the zodiac signs, the numbers, the stones that are very good to wear or carry for each month. But this is a one universal month. So this is a month for self-starters. This is a month for everybody to get the ball rolling, to start something new, to be proactive, to take life front and center, to decide what you want to do going for the first 9 months of the year will be predicated upon this month in which we take those activities. So the goal is, or the question is, what are your intentions? What is your purpose? Why? And how do you plan to get there? And so
Sound like you've been listening to Manifest on Purpose.
who?
Sounds like you've been listening to Manifest on
No,
Purpose.
did you hear what I said? I said, who? I listen to Manifest on Purpose all the time. I'm one
It's
of your
so
friendly stalkers.
interesting that you said the almanac, because believe it or not, I can actually remember reading the almanac growing up as a child, and it was like the second Bible in the
You
house.
better believe it.
Yeah,
You best
yeah,
believe it. When I was in the South with my grandparents, yes, you best believe it. It was. It was a staple
yeah,
to
yeah. It was
plant
very
seeds, to take
necessary.
them to harvest, all that stuff.
Yeah,
All by the cycles, not of the sun, but the cycles
the
of the moon.
moon. Wow, that's deep. That's deep. The
Yeah.
moon is coming up a lot today, because when we were talking about that 11, that's a moon that's a moon number too.
Yes, it
So
is.
yeah,
Yes,
so
it
the
is. But it's
moon.
on a higher level that people understand. So in February, it's going to be an 11 universal month. So that means those that are, shall we say, masterminded, whether the 11th or 22nd, or by name or destiny or whatever the case, or even the mindset, a lot of inventions, a lot of interesting things are going to take place. But we got to get through this month first of January. And because it is a one, it means that whatever you do sets the stage for the next 9 months to come. For
Mm.
those that are in codependent relationships where they're depending on somebody for this or depending on something for that, the number one rule is, normally if you happen to be in that kind of condition or situation, circumstances before this month is over will literally force you to stand on your own. And as it should be. You know how you got to learn how to stand on your own. This is why we have our babies. Then those babies get grown. Then they got to get up out of here. But of all of the, but you know what's in all of the animal kingdom, from humans to ants, we take the longest to raise a child. A bird, in 3 4 months, they better be looking for another nest, because it's getting crowded up in here. You know what I'm saying? So, but humans, we're a little bit more complex. Society is more complex, and other little factors that birds don't have to look at. You just go find another tree and start your own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
My dad used to say the baby bird needs to be kicked out of the tree.
Exactly. I knew I liked your dad.
One of the things that you were talking about were setting your intentions and having a purpose. I would also like to add to that I feel like January is the perfect time to set intentions, since this is a universal month going into that month. And as you said, which was so brilliant to me, whatever you do in this month is going to set the tone for the next 9 months. So this is important. And you got to think about it. We're in a new calendar year. I have to
Yes.
watch how I say that. We're
Yes.
in a new calendar year. So to me, that also represents a beginning.
And here's the paradox, because the universal year 2025 is a 9, which is a cycle of endings or termination. Yet the month of January is the month of taking the initiative, starting anew, starting fresh, all over again. So I guess if one want to, because sometimes they say, well, when should I end something? Well, this January is the perfect month to start to end something. You see what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
Well, I'm really excited with this one. I always like the one cycle. I always like the beginning again cycle.
Well, that's because one rules Leo, so I would expect you to be a little partial, just
Just
a
a
little
little bit.
oochie bit, not too much. Yeah,
Just a little bit.
yeah.
Do you have any things that you will be letting go of this year to start new?
Yes, a lot of drama, a lot of nonsense, and I don't want to hear it. People gonna be scared of me. They're gonna say, "Stray, what has gotten into you?" Okay, nothing. It's just that I want to do things differently. When I look at my cycle, it's going to be a cycle that's very interesting because I happen, for all occurrence for this month, we happen to be in a cycle for change. And it's good. But yet most Aquarians are in their critical cycle because it's 52 days coming into their birthday before their zodiac sign begins on the 19th of January. Aquarius enters January at a very early time this year. Normally it's around the 20th, 21st. But Aquarius will actually enter into, or this month of January on the 19th will enter into the sign of Aquarius, but I think it's toward the evening.
Let me ask you this question. I know you talk about the preview season and how you can experience the preview season September, late September into October the year before. For the preview season, well, you will be going into a 9, but did you feel that energy from late September all the way throughout December, or did that energy just last until maybe the end of October?
Well, what's interesting, it's kind of overlap. It's like that's why they have the cusping. Like Virgo, which just starts in September, really don't start in September. It starts the last several days of August before you enter the month. So that's why they call it the cusp, because you got a leg in one sign you're about to leave and another foot in the sign you're about to enter into. So sometimes things appear to be in a state of limbo. So in late August, well, I should say late September into October was a transitional thing because we're about to wrap up the influence of 2024, which is an 8 that deals with money, maturity, ancestor worship, things of that nature. And now going into a phase where we feel that we need to close out some aspect of things. So yes, 9 is definitely about endings, but also 9 is about manifestation, making one's dreams come true. It is also a cycle where you just break new ground. You travel someplace new or different. And this is what Aries and Scorpios will be experiencing themselves for the month of January.
Okay. So, the moment we've all been waiting
Oh,
for.
yeah.
Wait a minute. First, we got to get it straight. Who are we going to start with this year?
Well, I was going to start with Capricorn, but somebody rolled the dice and says we should do all with Aries. But, we said we would do something different. We're going to stick to the tried and true method.
No, you do it the way you want to, because if you don't, everybody will be pointing their fingers at me. So you go how you want to do it.
All right. So we're going to try something totally new this time. That is, since this is the month of Capricorn, that is the sign we're going to start with. Then next month is the sign of Aquarius, and that is the sign we're going to start with. Okay. And so for all the Capricorns, if your sun or your moon or your sun, and see, let me tell you this too. I'm an Aquarius. If your last name ends in an S or W standing, we always way down the line before somebody finally get to us. And Capricorns and Aquarius, which I am, we tend to be the last ones on the totem pole. So I just said this year, why don't we just start with each sign so that way the signs get that out the way. So for
That's
Aries,
why
I know.
you did it. That's
Hmm?
exactly why you did it.
That's exactly right. Because I'm tired of waiting in a long line, okay? You figured it out. But you know, the irony is Leo is always somewhere in the middle. Bless your soul. So see, that's what I'm saying. So anyway, that's what I've started. So this is new. Now, if people are not used to this method, we'll go back to the tried and true. But work with me on this. We're going to start. So if you're...
Okay, before you get started,
Okay.
let us know how you like this. Do you want us to do it this way, or do you want us to do it like we did it in 2024? Let us know in the comments. So next time we'll do it.
Yeah. So yeah, because we can always make the adjustment by at least wait till March, because I got mine out the way. Okay. I mean,
For
March,
real?
of course, will be 2nd, February 2nd. At least we get that out the way. We don't have to wait till it's in the 11th position. Okay? Jeez. I'm doing the best I can with these stars, okay? So, if your sun or your moon or ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, yes, this is different. I know your Aries saying, wait up, because Aries are so spoiled, they got to wait. But if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, the theme this month is to be broad-minded, to be worldly. Now, why do I say that? Well, this time of the year for Capricorns are known to be very conservative. They're known to be the kind of people who take their time, they plod along. Not that all Capricorns are slow, but the point is they normally don't just jump into something as a rule. And so for Capricorns, this is a month for them to fulfill their dreams. And this opening week, especially on the very first day of January, when the moon, is actually sitting in the sign of Capricorn, is going to point to an auspicious beginning to start with their zodiac sign. Again, for our listeners, if all this confused you, we'll go back to the tried and true traditional ways. But with me being Aquarius, I have a couple of issues. I figure I'm going to start and do it different this year because I'm tired of waiting for the 11th position for Aquarius. That's why. But anyway, so for Capricorn, this first week says, be proactive and take the initiative to do things you need to do, to not waver, but to be open-minded and more worldly as against the conservative, normally very pragmatic way that Capricorns normally do things. Now, as they go into the second week, which is relationship week, it indicates that around the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th, when the moon is sitting in the opposition sign of Cancer, that they don't just assume, but to be more diplomatic and whatnot, take their time and things of that nature. And also, it would be a good time for Capricorns to do change their diet, since Capricorns usually rule the stoppage of the intestines, normally called constipation. However, in the third week, things begin to open up. They begin to see kind of the fruits of their efforts, the things of how they want to determine things. So things are going to go pretty well for them during that third week of the 15th to the 21st. But as they go into the final week, they're going to find themselves more structured, more organized. They'll set more boundaries for themselves that allow them to really do things. But the key is to do everything with an open mind, not with because Capricorns, again, are normally conservative. They're not a fixed sign, but they're set in their ways about how they do things. But there's Earth, and Earth moves very slowly. And so that would be the thing that happens. Now, who's going to help Capricorns during this month will be Aries and Scorpio. In a minor way, Leos. The color they should wear is red. Okay, and normally black is assigned to the sign of Capricorn. And the stone they should wear or carry, other than shungite, is shungite and opal. Now, if your sun or your moon or ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius, see how long? Say you have to wait that long, okay? All right. The theme for you this month for January, Aquarius, is movement. Don't be sitting still. Don't be sitting like a bump on a stump, or stump on a bump, or whatever, bump on a log, or whatever they call it. Your thing is to move. And when I say move, to be spontaneous, to be open, because Aquarius by nature is a fixed sign. And being a fixed sign, they get set in their ways, as the elders used to say. But this particular time for Aquarius, it means be flexible, to exercise the freedom of movement and adjustability. And especially in the opening week, because it's going to be that by exercising. So instead of those Aquarians just sitting home all day, being a couch potato, all that stuff, get out, enjoy the sun. Yes, it's going to be cold, because January, at least in my region of the country, is going to be cold. So just make sure you get out and bask in the sun and stuff like that, and bundle up if you got to in layers or whatever. But to make sure you do what you have to do for your health and whatnot, especially on the second and the third. As you go into the second week, though, that's the week that gives you an opportunity to travel. And don't forget, when I say travel, it doesn't have to be physically, but your mind travels somewhere else. It's not in the same place as it was. You see what I'm saying? But it allows you to also find your spiritual center, get everything together in the way you want to. Now, it's around the 15th and the 16th as you get into the second half of January, where the moon is stressing you around the 15th and the 16th again. And it simply means to not just, especially when you're handling your money, because that is the whole point about it. Don't be speculating, things like that. Take a more conservative approach. Also, try not to argue with people from your past. Let bygones be bygones. And just because don't forget, this whole universal year is the year of the 9. So it's more about letting go than holding on to something when we need to lighten our load. That's why we in the 9 universal year says get rid of any debris or anything that's toxic or holding you back, to lighten your load so you can move forward, as we will do way in 2016, which will be here before we know it. Okay. And so once we do that, so with the last week, it indicates that a lot of the dreams can be fulfilled. It'll give them a chance to again close the books on things, to begin to make certain things a reality for them, which is great. Now, who is likely to help Aquarians during this month of January? That would be Geminis and Virgos and other Aquarians. That's me, thank you. Or anybody born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of any month. Now, the color to wear is metallic or business gray. That's the best time. And the stone to wear or carry for this month is shungite and turquoise. Now, before, as you know, we've had questions come into our viewers about where to get these stones. Well, most of them you can get at Amazon, or you can Google gem stores, crystal stores, and they've got it here in New York. They got East West Books and a couple other places where you can get stones, or just go to Amazon or some other Alibaba or eBay to get your stones if you don't have them. Okay. So Pisces, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Pisces, the theme for you this month is to be dependable, to be practical, to not let just emotion dictate your terms, to not be swayed by emotions, because Pisces is ruled by water. It rules feelings and hunches and intuitions. Well, whatever it is, let it be in a way that has more substance to it, have more purpose to it, not just a willy-nilly about something, but based upon the inner workings of the cycle that you're in, especially in the first week, because it'll give you a chance to make a turning point in the way you do things, especially on the 4th and the 5th, when the sun is actually sitting in your sign of Pisces. But it's in that second week, the week of relationships, that things may be a little kind of topsy-turvy, because there'll be kind of contradictions. But if you understand that, you can cut it off at the pass, or not let it throw you off your center, if you have just simple awareness of what's going on. And it means making adjustments. But going into the third week and going into the second half, you got to be a little careful around the 17th or 18th, when the moon is sitting in your opposition sign of Virgo. That's what it'll do. And it means simply about finding your spiritual center, not letting anyone ruffle your feathers, but to go and why you do the things you do. You're likely to have some very strange dreams, so try to wake up, try to figure out what is that about. But as you go into the final phase of the month of January, it will allow you to deal with some money matters, especially on the very last day, on the 31st, because the moon is going to be sitting in your sign. And that's going to make your life easy. So you're going to find the month of January, you're going to close out on a most pleasant note. Now, who's going to help you during this month of January? Pisces will be Aquarius, Leos, Geminis, and those that are born on the 1st to 4th, the 10th to 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month. And that's for the color to wear. They should wear forest green, greens. These, they got about 1 billion colors now. There were 7 colors in the rainbow, but now there's shades of different colors. So forest green would be perfect for them. And the best stone to wear or carry or crystal will be shungite, of course, and heliotrope, I should say. That would be the best, okay? So now we're going to get to Aries. I know, see what it's like? You got to wait, okay? I'm only kidding, Aries. Ain't that serious? For Aries, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Aries, your theme this month is to activate, to energize, to be single-minded in your purpose, your goals, to focus with all the intentions of getting from point A to point B without being distracted. In this real life now, there's so many things bombarding us with the TVs and the internets and all this other stuff that you can be distracted. But Aries, this particular month, need to be single-minded, especially if their sun, moon, or ascendant is in that sign. And it simply means to take a proactive approach, to not let anything bother them, especially in the first week on the 6th and the 7th, because the moon will be sitting in their sign. So it's going to allow them to form meaningful partnerships, and they'll be in a relationship week anyway, okay? And then as they go into the second half of the week, things are going to really be opening up. And so when I say activate, things are going to be more activating, more so. They're going to be busy as a bee, as they said. It's going to give them an opportunity to meet with some important contacts and get some things done to start off their month of January. As they go into the third week, that's when they're going to have to be a little bit more organized about the way they do things. 9s can be fiery, 9s can be impulsive, but in that third week from the 15th to the 21st, it says that will not be the strategy. In fact, that'll be a health week, which means not bad health, but Aries tend to be more accident and injury prone, nicks, cuts, burns, bruises, and therefore take your sweet time. It ain't that serious. As you go into the final week, though, especially around the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, this is in the final week. This will give you an opportunity to really make sure that everything is in order, to not rush, to be, especially when you're traveling and especially when you're communicating, okay? It's about how you do things, how things are going to be working out for you. And in this regard, if you take your time and make sure that you're more energized and being more single-minded about what you got to do, this will make all the difference. And it's going to be an opportunity week. But once you do pass the 19th, 20th, 21st, actually, technically, the last week will be so much better. Now, who's going to help you? It's so interesting that Leos and Aquarians will help many signs. I don't know what's up with this. This is not of my choosing, but who's going to help Aries this particular month is Leos and Aquarians. Aries will help themselves, and also people that are born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. Now, let's say your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Taurus. The theme this month for you, Taurus, is tranquility, finding inner peace, finding your center, and it makes sense because we're in an earth period under the sign of Capricorn now, and Taurus is an earth sign element as well. So Tauruses should be in their element. And when I say tranquil, to not let nothing ruffle your feathers, to not let things throw you off your center, but to maintain that inner peace, that what they call stoic abilities, where it's not about the emotions, but about controlling your emotions or understanding as things as best you can. especially in the very first week, because that's going to be a financial week anyway. So it just means to be tranquil about how you budgeting, how you receiving your monies, things of that nature. Then as you go into the second week from the 8th and the 9th, the moon will be sitting in your sign of Taurus, in fact, but it's going to give you a chance to also phase things out that you feel no longer serves a purpose, and also fulfill some of the things that you've been wanting to do. As you go into the third week, it's going to allow you to set the stage and actually do something with your career. It's going to be very, very good in that way. So if people get raises, promotions, doing things of that nature, that makes all the sense in the world. As you go into the closing week, though, especially around the 22nd, 23rd of the month, things says, okay, be more patient, be more diplomatic. Because, you know, there's this saying, bull in a china shop. Well, don't forget, Taurus, it's about being tranquil, okay, and not letting things ruffle your feathers. I'm going to tell you, everybody's going to be on edge for the most part this year, because we're in the year of the 9. It's a warlike thing. It's an energized thing. It's more proactive. So people ain't having nothing. They're not hearing it. But who's going to help you, Taurus, for the month of January? Well, it's going to be Cancers and Pisces. And anybody born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, 25th, or 29th of the month. And as for the color to wear, cream, the color cream from the lightest to the darkest. And the stone or crystal they should carry over and above shungite is clear quartz. Now, what about Geminis? Bless their souls. Okay, if your sun, your moon, your ascendant is in the sign of Gemini, the theme is to be dependable. It's not that Geminis are not dependable anyway, but Geminis always get a bad rap. Of all the signs, that's the sign they get. Well, they two-faced because they got twins. They always haters. You know, that's the only one that's got two people going for them. But when I say dependable, being nurturing, being caring, taking your time to smell the roses and not always stopping to do things. You see what I'm saying? But to make sure that you kind of settle down. This is a good time for all Geminis to go back to school, work on their health, work on their appearance, especially for women Geminis is the time I mentioned about cutting the hair for strength. To lengthen it or growing it. This is the perfect time that I mentioned at the top of this interview today. But they should take advantage of doing just that. Now, in the first week, they're going to be making some adjustments. They're going to be really thinking things through about, okay, how am I going to start this month off? Am I going to stick to resolutions and whatnot? But in the second week, that's the money week for them. There's dollar signs all over that week, especially on the 10th and 11th. Why? Because the moon will be sitting in their sign of Gemini. They will be in a financial week on top of that too. It gives them a chance to make some moves. Who knows? It could be anything from a raise or promotion to maybe winning a couple of dollars at a lottery. You never know. Whatever it is, I'm wishing you all the best. Going into that third week, though, is when they say, you know what? I need to put some things aside. I know they'll say, Lloyd says, nurturing, being dependable. Right now, I got some people in my space that ain't dependable at all, and they got to go. So they can depend on that. But it's in that week of the last week of the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th. Or I should say, excuse me, it's the 24th, 25th, 26th, when the moon is sitting in their opposition sign, that they may find it a little challenging getting things off the ground, getting things started the way they want to. But don't forget, the whole theme for Geminis this month is to be adjusting, but yet to be dependable. When I say that, do what you say you're going to do. Walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Talk is cheap. So if you do that, the Gemini should do very, very well. Now, who is likely to help them? Tauruses are going to help them. Librans are going to help them, as well as those born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of any month is going to be of help to them too. Now, what colors did they wear? They should wear blue. And the stone or the crystal they should wear or carry over and above shungite is amethyst. What about Cancers? If your sun or your moon or ascendant is in the sign of Cancer, I know I can see some Leos, they just can't wait to get to their sign, but right now we're going to deal with Cancer. I'm only kidding, folks. It's not that serious. Anyway, The rule for Cancers this month is to be lighthearted, to be charming, to be friendly. It's like, and this is going to be a challenging time for Cancers because normally for Cancers, the sign of Capricorn that we were in for January is their lowest point in the chart, their opposition period. So yes, they can be charming, but they may not feel like they want to be charming. I know Lloyd said be charming, but right now I want to give somebody a piece of my mind. Well, be more diplomatic. That is how you're going to get. This is a case for all Cancers that you can catch more bees with honey in your opposition period of January than otherwise. Okay. So now it's not going to be easy because in the first week, they may not be feeling they might be kind of in a mood, in a funk or something like that. But that's going to quickly change as they go into the second week because around the 12th, 13th, and 14th, the moon will actually be sitting in their sign. So they're going to feel a dramatic change, a dramatic shift. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming their way that brings about the ability to begin to meet those crossroads whenever they encounter them and how to go in a way that's more productive for them. As they go into the third week, though, that's going to be the period where it affects their relationships and their finances. And they're going to find that things will be more in alignment with what they plan to do. As they go into the tail week, though, around the 27th to 28th, they're going to have to be mindful, although that's going to be a time for them to kind of get away from themselves or have a desire to get away from themselves. The moon is therefore going to be sitting in their opposition sign of Capricorn. So it simply means to make sure you don't say things out of turn. Make sure your intentions are honorable and above board, and you shouldn't have a problem at all. The signs that's going to help Cancers will be Pisces and Sagittarius, or they will be born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of any month. Now, as for the color, they should wear lavender or purple or mauve, whatever they call it. I love that color anyway. And the stone they should wear or carry in addition to shungite should be pyrite. Okay. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Leo, the theme this month is about to be the light bearer, to lead others, to give direction. Can't nobody do it better than a Leo. Nothing personal. I mean, that's the theme. I ain't pick it. That's the theme. I said, oh boy. They're going to be, that's because for Leos, they're going to be in what I call an 11 universal month. 11 in numerology is one of the master numbers. It takes people to a high level. And the irony is the master number 11 is assigned to one zodiac sign only, and that's the sign of Leo. So Leos are going to feel right at home this particular month, although January is normally challenging. This month is going to be a total exception to that rule. A light bearer in how? To raise people's consciousness, to show them there's a better way, to show them there's an alternate path of what people think. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to do. Now, the only thing is in the very first week, around the second and the third, when the moon is sitting in their challenging sign of Aquarius, they just have to be a little careful of overextending themselves, to being caught up in people's gossips or anything of that nature. Just let that go. It's more in the second week of the 8th through the 14th. It's the health week, that this is a time to make sure that your mind is right. Maybe stop watching TV a bit and kind of, if you're going to watch TV, watch things that are more pleasant, focused, or whatever, more uplifting and things of that nature. But you're also going to be establishing some order in your life. As for the third week, on the 15th and the 16th, that's when the moon is going to be sitting in your sign of Leo. And that is going to be an opportunity for you to really change things around completely. Turn the corner in your life and take full advantage of any and all opportunities that come your way. Then in the last week of the week that deals with relationships and health and money all at the same time, the moon is going to be sitting in your opposition sign on the 29th and the 30th of the month. So it simply means just close out the month by taking it easy. Don't let people work your nerves. It ain't worth it. Don't forget your role is to be the light bearer, not to be the person where people work your nerves. There's a big, big difference, okay? Now, who is going to help Leos? Believe it or not, other Leos, Aquarians, and Cancers, or if they're born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th to 25th, or the 29th, they will be of assistance to Leo. So Leo should feel right at home for January. Normally January kind of gives Leos a challenge, but this month is going to be an exception. Virgo. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Virgo, the theme for you this month is to be understanding. Actually, because the theme of Virgo is I analyze, they're always about seeking understanding. Why things are the way they are, why things happen the way they do, and things like that. So it just means understanding in a higher level, to not just look at the nuts and bolts of things, which Virgos are known to do, but to look at the human things too, the human interactions of why people have that way. So this way, because sometimes you got to back up. You know what's interesting? If you put your hand to your face and cover your face, you can't see anything. But as you pull your hand back, you can see more of the things around you. And so if Virgos can have that kind of understanding, especially in the first week, because around the 4th and the 5th, the moon is going to be sitting in the opposition sign of Pisces. So that means that they should approach it with a sense of a meditative, reflective way of looking at things and not let things throw them off their center. However, as they go into the second week, that's going to be their financial week and relationship week too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't see somebody from their past who reaches out to them, an old colleague or college friend or high school or whatever the case is, but bringing people back into their space that they haven't seen in a while, because the whole theme for Virgos is about relationships anyway and making adjustments and things of that nature. It's in the third week when the moon is in their sign on the 17th and the 18th that they're going to be in a much better way. And in fact, there's also indicates some kind of travel in that latter half, somewhere around about the second week. The third week, as I said, especially with the moon in their sign, but even more so in the latter part of the month. The only thing they have to be mindful for is on the 30th. That is when the moon will be sitting back in their opposition sign of Pisces. But over and above that, they should be proactive. And because the whole theme is about home and family and health and learning, to do something new, to take a whole new approach as they close out the month, as they begin to move into February. Now, who is going to help them? Well, Tauruses and Librans are going to help them, as well as anybody born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month. And speaking of that, the color to wear will be dark blue, navy blue, deep ocean blue. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry should be shungite and rose quartz. Okay. Now, for Librans, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Libra, I should say, the theme is to be a thinker, to be calm, to, one of the beauties of emergencies, if a person is able to keep their wits about them. A lot of times in emergencies, people panic, they lose it. And it only happens, time tends to slow down, where seconds seem like minutes, in some cases, hours. But if the Librans can think first, they will be better. If they can do things in a very blissful way, a very calm way. And it makes sense because Libra is the symbol of the scale is the balance. Too much of is just as bad as none of. So this may not sound like that, especially when you're trying to balance your pocketbook, because on the 6th and the 7th, the moon is going to be sitting in your stress sign of Aries. So that means take it easy. Don't make sure that you're spending in a way that's very frugal, not impulsively, and just take your time. As they go into the second week, they'll have an opportunity to begin to pull things or put things to a close, but also an opportunity to do some traveling, at least plan to travel in their mind, if not in fact. They also should be proactive about motivating and inspiring other people to reach the highest levels that they can. But it's going to be in that third week of the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, when the moon is in their sign finally, that they will really have a chance to rally, go within, to see things in a very crystal light. And during this whole month anyway, Librans at some point, to some degree, should either go into some form of meditation, affirmations, prayer, or something of that nature, because I was once told that if you're chasing after something, that's because it's trying to run away from you. So don't do that, because Libra, they actually, if I had to put the general theme other than being a thinker, that's because the sign of Libra is in the cycle of the law of attraction anyway. So whatever they want, they attract. Now, what's going to be very interesting is that second week. That's when they're going to be making some adjustments in relationships or in the home or the workplace. And the signs is going to be very helpful to them, especially is going to be Pisces and Cancer, or they will be born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. The color to wear for them is emerald green. And the stone they should wear or carry over and above shungite should be blue agate. That is the stone for them to wear or carry. Now, what about Scorpio? Well, if your sun, your moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Scorpio, the theme is to be unbending, to be steadfast. Now, here's a contradiction. Scorpio is a fixed sign. When I say unbending, it's not unbending to the point that you don't listen to other people's comments or suggestions or advice, but to be unbending in terms of being resolute about some of the goals and objectives you wish to achieve as you kick up the brand new year of 2025, January. That's just that simple. But like, no, I ain't gonna listen to you. No, I ain't gonna pay no attention to you. It's not that kind of unbending. No, that would be ill advised, actually. Okay, actually, so it sounds counterintuitive, but it simply means to be steadfast in setting your goals, not letting people throw you off your track, but yet be open enough to take sound advice when it presents itself to you. Now, they're going to get off to a kind of a slow start in the first week, and it just simply means they got to be patient. There's expected to be some change around relationships, some changes in the workplace, or some changes in the home space, whatever the case is. Going into the third week, that's when around the 8th and the 9th, when the moon is sitting in their opposition sign of Taurus, they're likely to be challenged. So they should not overextend themselves. They should not get caught up in the people's gossip or drama and whatnot, and overdo or take things to excess. Going into the the third week is when they're going to have a little bit more sense of order, a purpose, direction, or focus to do things, begin to set some boundaries, as they call it. But yet there are going to be some unexpected health events too that may come into play. So they have to be a little bit mindful of that. Only in the last week, around the 22nd, 23rd, will Scorpios get a chance to really take the initiative as it relates to change. They're going to want to change their energies, change the environment, change their space, go somewhere, or whatever the case may be. Those that are going to be of help to Scorpios this year will be Leos this month. Should be Leos and Aquarians. Also, in a minor way, Aries, or those that are born on the 1st to 4th, the 10th to 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. The colors that Scorpio should wear this particular month is crimson, and the stones they should wear or carry over and above shungite is garnet. Now, what about our last sign? See what it is, Sagittarius? The last sign, because we did Capricorn already. The theme this month is about boundaries, setting routines. That is, I think, over the last couple of years, the most thing I hear. Everybody got to do boundaries. Well, we got my boundaries. I think that people use boundaries so much, I don't even know what it means no more. But boundaries mean to how far we going to go with this, okay? How much we going to do this, all right? That's what I'm talking about, okay? You ain't going to be pushing me over the edge. No, not this month. So that's what I mean. So boundaries in a sense that Pisces have more of a sense of a direction, a purpose, a goal, an objective with their intentions of knowing how to get from point A to point B. And if there are things in between, how to work around these walls or go over these walls or under these walls or through these walls to get to the point. But to be, in this sense, setting your boundaries. However, in the first week, there's going to be a change for travel. Okay, that's how the first week is going to open up. There's going to be some opportunities that's going to present themselves in a way It's going to bring about opportunities to be some life-changing things as they go into this brand new month of January of 2025. However, there's going to be a contradiction going into the second week because it's going to deal with relationships, but it means to be mindful because on the 10th and the 11th, the moon will be sitting in your opposition sign of Virgo. And so Virgo is a very analytical sign. And so be careful not to say anything or ruffle anybody's feathers. Don't forget, your theme is about boundaries. Don't go too much out of character. Just stay where you are and do the best you can with what you got. So then it's in that third week that you begin to you step back, you take stock, you look, you listen, and you kind of tune into what your inner guide is saying to you. That's the kind of time it is. That would be actually a good time to go away because a lot of times during the cold season of January, February here on the East Coast, people like to go to Carnival or some carnival islands where there's the sand, the sun, and definitely better weather than the cold, freezing elements that they experience here. That would be good for them. And then finally, as they go into the last week where they really get themselves more structured and organized in a way that makes sense to them, on that 25th, 24th, 25th, 26th, that's when the moon will be sitting finally in your sign of Sagittarius. You're going to find such a wonderful break to close it out. The nice thing about it is I would expect some sudden and unexpected money to come your way. However it comes, ain't none of my business, but be prepared. Be ready. When you least expect it, that's the kind of energy. And by the way, you're going to be doing a lot of growing up during this time too. Who are likely to help you during this time, Sagittarius, will be Aquarius. That's me, thank you. That's Leo. That's Miss Kimbaley, thank her. And Geminis, or anybody born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. They are going to be of help. Now, what colors should you wear, Sagittarius? Magenta. That's a beautiful color. And not only magenta, but the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite is emerald. And that wraps it up. Now, I know some people who are listening to the first time signs said the signs are way off. So please put your comments in the comment section. We'd rather start with each month with my sign, or we need to start with Aries that we're used to. Me, I'm tired of being in the 11th position.
I need to put my comment in now. It took too long to get Leo. Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. So, okay, so it was a one-time guess. Okay, so next month we start with the Aries again.
No, I like it. I like it. We'll see what
Yeah,
everybody
we
else
want
says.
the viewers' opinion.
We're gonna take a poll and see what everybody else says, and
Yeah,
we'll
should we
do it the
start with
way.
Aries or start with the month your sign is in? And I think that gives everybody a chance to be first at the top of the chart.
That was fun though, but you know what? In the beginning, I was going to say that I was going to set more boundaries for starting in January for 2025. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I heard when you said what you said about Sagittarius, I thought, I'm glad I didn't say that.
I know that's right. But,
I'm glad I
but the whole thing is that we have 1 year successfully of doing 2024. We started with this brand new month of January 2025. And so we are going to be doing all these things. And in fact, speaking of this month of January, I am starting the Power Series. What do I mean? The cycles, we all go through cycles. Now, these are cycles I'm talking about in a broad way. But the power cycle on the cycles I'm going to be talking about on January the 21st that I want everybody to attend if they can, although seating is going to be limited. So it's definitely going to be first come, first serve to find out their individual cycle. See, don't forget, I talked about Aquarians, but in a broad brushstroke. But all Aquarians aren't the same. You got some born in January, you got some born in February, you got some born on a date that adds up to the 1 or a date that adds up to the 9. So now I'm going to get more specific, but I want to teach you how I'm doing this. So not only you read yourself, but your loved ones, your children, your mate, your frenemies, your enemies, or whoever you need to read. But you'll read them with the kind of understanding that will make sense. That is the purpose. So it's going to be very engaging, and I wish everybody turn out to it. Then in February, the birthday month, it's going to be I'm going to be my live workshop. My first workshop was back in the summer of last year. The students wound up being simply incredible. They all became my babies, so to speak. You know, they're grown adults, but they're like my babies. I got to watch out for them, okay? And so what it is learning the art of numerology as a career, how to do this professionally as a living. When I first started and my dad asked me, well, how you going to make a living? I had no answer. I had no clue. But going on all these decades later, going 35 plus 40 years of doing this, I now have made this a very successful living, written books, and I'll show you how to do it. Now, you got to understand, 30, 40 years ain't going to be done in 30, 40 days. So if you got that kind of mindset, this is not the class for you. But it'll be a 5-week learning session to get you how to get to the fundamentals of doing it so you can help people help themselves. But more importantly, you'll be helping yourself in the process too. So that takes place in February. In April, this is a class that I really enjoy. It's going to be on April 13th, okay? And it's about palmistry. All of us, to a greater degree, have our hands on hands. The hand is actually the servant of the brain. Like I talk with my hands. If you notice, I'm always like that. There's some people that keep their hands in their pocket. Well, I will teach you by simple observation how to look at a person's hands, the length of their fingers, to tell you what kind of person that's in front of you. So Napoleon, the famous general, once says the face may deceive, which means a woman could put the most gorgeous makeup on her face, but the hand never deceives. It is what it is. So, for example, there is a line that goes under the fingers. It's called the heart line, okay? If that heart line goes all the way over here, with this is the dictator finger. Didn't I tell you never to do that again? If the heart line goes way over there, that means whoever you're dealing with, okay, be ready. Can't be said we ain't had this conversation, which is one of my favorite sayings, okay? So it's just a matter of understanding. And it's not so much to get into people's business, but I'm going to be showing you the hands of famous celebrities and personalities around the world. And I'm going to show you some hands that are not normal. So you know what normal is, normal. And see, this is what I teach when I do palmistry. What's normal, which is not normal. Now, we all have eyes, we have a nose, we have a mouth. Now, if my mouth is up here where my eyes is, that's not normal. And so I teach it in a very simple way that you understand. Now you can go in depth. I have tons of books on the subject of palmistry, but I want to try to keep it simple. So just in the basic interactions, a basic way of looking at people in front of you, you can kind of tell. So these are some of the courses. And then a good friend of mine, and we got a book project coming up before the year is out. So it's going to be a very exciting time. So it's going to be a very exciting year for everybody. But everybody, please be careful in this year of 2025 in the sense that it is governed by Mars. So people are on edge. There's all kind of crazy things that's going on. So what I'm saying is don't get caught up in the crazies. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and knowledge and your jokes too.
Is that what you call them?
You said it.
I'm doing the best I can, but it's good. But you know, I got to be honest, Miss Kimbaley, I really enjoy these. And although I'm kind of serious about my intentions, I kind of sometimes you can learn more from the laughter and the humor than if like beating somebody over the head with and scaring them, because that's not my role. My role is to educate them in a way that makes sense. But sometimes adding a dose of a little humor to it makes a big difference too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes it easier to watch.
Yeah.
Easier to watch.
So we'll see how things turn out.
So, you think we're going to make another year of this?
I would like to. Not
Okay.
unless the viewers say we're tired of seeing you two every month, okay?
We're not
And
going
you're
to ask
new.
that. We're not going to ask that question. No. We
But I tell
won't.
you this though, what will help us is if you can leave your questions behind in the comment section, because what we did is you began to extrapolate those and begin to ask me the questions that we can fill in the blanks. So that makes going into each month a little bit more interesting. But one of the things we are doing with our question is we are now going to take the almanac of certain activities to do, the best time to buy electronics, the best time to close deals or sign contracts or whatever. I just picked a few. And this is to just see how if this works. We are testing this. We want to kind of improve it and make it as much usable and practical to a person as possible. I think the cutting of hair for length, the cutting of hair to shorten it, I think that's going to be a mainstay of the activities. Okay, especially for women, it's always, doing something with their hair. If I cut it, is this the time to make it grow? Is this the time to shorten it? And for men too, who may feel that they're thinning, if they cut their hair on a day that's for growth, they'll find that their hair will grow back faster.
And I just want to say thank you so much for that new addition. I think that's awesome. And that's where I first learned about the moon cycle,
Me
cutting
too.
the hair. You kind of brought back a memory from childhood with that part. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you're
Well,
incorporating.
that's for me too. I thought about that with my grandmother. They had the almanac there, and every month they find out what's the best time to plant this or that, take hogs to slaughter, whatever the case is. I mean, they
It
live by
would
the
even
almanac.
tell the weather too, wouldn't it? You could
Yes,
find
about the
out.
weather too.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. And I just want to say to everybody, this is January the 1st, the top of the year. On Astro-Numerology Reveal, if there are some topics that you would like discussed about numerology, astrology, any of the sciences, please let me know. Leave me a comment, or either you can send me an email at connect, CONNECT, at Kimbaley, KIMBALEY. Let's see if I have it in a banner. Or you can just go to Kimbaley.com and leave a message there. But let me know what you would like to see on the show, what things are working, um, your questions, comments, or whatever, so that we can just make sure that we stay up and bring the information that you want. Yes.
Teacher. I have another question.
What's
For
that?
those that missed the Vision Board Workshop Mastery class that was on the first of this month, will you have another one for those again, maybe, just to think about it?
Maybe.
Because you're good at what you do, and that
Mm,
would be good.
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
I
So,
enrolled in the class, and it was fascinating.
say it again.
I said I have visions in my mind, my alter self. You know what I'm saying? We all have our alters. Like on your manifest on purpose, I noticed that Genie will come to you. Okay. And we all have alter personalities, and we Aquarians is something else. So I'm gonna make sure I get my personality straight too. So,
Are you an Aquarius or a Gemini?
I don't know what I have sometimes. I'm supposed to be an Aquarius, but sometimes I might be saying, "Am I here, there, whatever?"
Were you born on the cusp? No, no,
How'd you
no.
know? You need to stop, Miss Leo.
I
That's
do.
what you
I
need
do.
to do.
I do. Yeah, so I'll keep you all posted on what's going to be happening. There are a few things that will be taking place at the beginning of the year, but I won't announce those yet. And are there any other things? I know you have the class coming up. I know you have the Power series going on. Wow, you'll be busy. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be
And
busy.
next month, February month, will be about relationships. And that's very important. And relationship goes just beyond just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. We're always in a relationship. I'll explain all of that, how to find your best match, or at least people that are harmonious to you. I'm not going to try to get people married, jump in the room, and all that stuff. But interacting with in the world of business, in the world of just basic everyday life in general, whether we're dealing with our children, dealing with our parents, dealing with our relatives or friends, and even enemies too. But to have that understanding is very important. Understanding blocks the whole thing. You know, it's interesting when you see something for the first time, you're confused, but when shown properly, it makes for understanding. And that is my goal with these power series. So that's what's going to be coming up for February next month.
That's going to be good. Make
Yeah.
sure you're there. Make sure you check that out. Well, once again, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us,
too.
sharing
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
knowledge and wisdom. We're so lucky. We're so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
See you in February.
Thank you as always. And thank you for this whole 12-month journey for 2024. It's wonderful. A lot of ideas, these things that our viewers are hearing actually came as a result of us partnering and you actually bringing your creative Leo ideas to it and me, my weird Aquarian kind of thing. It wound up being a very nice thing. And the responses have just been awesome. And it's a very nice testament
Yeah.
to our collaboration. And we thank because of the viewers, because by your comments, we are able to shape and mold the direction in which we're taking this right at this present moment of 2025.
And just thank you for taking your time to watch us.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
big. That's
yeah.
special. That's
I know
special.
people be saying, Stray, you be running your mouth. You need to cut that out. But I
That's
enjoyed
what
it.
social media is for, to
I
run
guess
your
you're
mouth.
right. I guess you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
thank you.
okay. See you in February.
See you in February.